Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm finally getting a chance to do this video. Got the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks playing the first game of the Western Conference Finals in a few hours. 6 o'clock I believe it is Pacific time. Excuse me. And so look, this is the deal. I don't know what Steph Curry I'm getting tonight. I don't know what Warriors team I'm getting tonight. I know the game is in their house. I also know that Jason Kidd should be rather spirited given the fact that he's from the Bay Area. His roots are strong there, and I'm pretty certain he wants to have a great series and get a victory in this building. The thing that I'm wondering about is just the matchups. Obviously, this is the first game, so you don't really know what these teams look like against one another. You don't know what teams are going to use, what roster decisions are going to be made early on that'll help you understand what to look for, what coaches think may work against one another. So it's kind of hard before the first game to really have a clear-cut prediction that you can hang your hat on. But what I can say I'm looking for is just what player is going to play well tonight in terms of guys who haven't played well consistently or what have you. Are we going to get a good Klay Thompson tonight? Are we going to get a Spencer Dinwiddie sighting tonight? How is Reggie Bullock going to be shooting this evening? Those are the questions that I have right away. How far along is Jordan Poole from his elbow injuries? Will he be a good defensive player for his team, or will he be a defensive liability? I don't know the answers to these questions. What will be his assignments? How will these teams decide to dictate pace? What pace will they end up settling into? Will it be Luka, slow it down, half court pace, or will it be something more sped up that fits Golden State style? These are things I just have no idea. I don't know what I'm looking for, let alone what to expect. So, if anything, I'm just coming in with an open mind as it pertains to this series. I think the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat are an easier series to kind of envision basketball play, because they're going to be gritty, defensive-minded teams that are going to have trouble scoring. But in this case, you have defensive teams who have scoring-minded players who have been playing inconsistent. So it's like, what are we going to get? Is Luka Doncic going to use his teammates? Are they going to continue to allow Spencer Dinwiddie to control the basketball in certain situations? It certainly worked in Game 6, or rather Game 7. I mean, will it be a three-man race to score the basketball for the Dallas Mavericks, or will it be more balanced? These are things I have no idea what to expect, but I can tell you this. I don't know that the Dallas Mavericks can win this game against the Golden State Warriors in the same way that they won Game 7 against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have very specific weaknesses that cater to how they were able to scheme against them. And by the time we saw Game 7, the Mavericks had them figured out. That's why it worked so well, in my opinion anyway. So this is going to be different. I expect, adjustments to really tell the story here. Jason Kidd is going to see what works and what doesn't. He's going to, make his decisions on how best to utilize the squad. So, looking at Dorian Finney-Smith, for example, I expect him to be a three-point shooter and a defender in this series. Otto Porter Jr. has been great on the offensive glass. I'm looking for him to do that. Andrew Wiggins is going to be tasked with guarding Luka Doncic in a lot of situations, along with everybody else for that matter. But, I'm looking at him as somebody that they may be throwing on multiple players, particularly guys like Jalen Brunson, of whom I think they may have a little trouble trying to guard if they don't throw somebody fast on him. So they're going to really miss GP2 in this series, and that's my concern about the Golden State Warriors, is how will they play defensively, particularly against these guards. And of course, Draymond. Look, Draymond is going to have to guard the perimeter a lot more than he wants to. Just about every big that the Mavericks have is a three-point shooter defenders. So he's not going to be able to park it. They're going to try to run Mooney out there, right? What's his name? Oh, goodness, I can't seem to get my man's name right. But, Kevon Looney, he should get more minutes, so we should never have this issue remembering his name. But nevertheless, Kevon Looney, I don't know if he's going to be as effective in this series for the simple fact that there's so much shooting going on down there. You know, he's going to have to be tasked with guarding the perimeter. So I think we're going to see a lot more Kuminga, Porter playing the four in situations where they're going in small ball lineups, obviously, since both of these teams are very small to begin with. So it's going to be tricky, man. And the same goes for Dwight Powell. You know, how much will he be effective in this series? Will he even be utilized at all? Will he even get playing time to that degree because of the same reasons? So, you know, these are three-point shooting teams. I expect them to shoot the three. And as I'll say this about both teams, and I'll mean this, they need not fall in love with the three-point shot. Both of them need to make sure that they do what they need to do to get some interior play. Now, with the Golden State Warriors, I expect that to be obviously Kuminga getting easy buckets, Draymond getting easy buckets, Steph Curry's obviously going to drive in the lane, Klay Thompson, mid-range shots. I don't know how quickly he's going to be getting off the dribble. And, of course, Wiggins and Poole. So I read somewhere that someone said that they thought that the way to stop the Golden State Warriors in this series is to slow down Jordan Poole. And I'm inclined to believe that slowing him down will help a great deal, especially with the inconsistency that we've seen from other areas on the roster. It's going to be very important that Jordan Poole have consistency and kind of just you provide a multitude of things on both sides of the floor. So pay attention to him in that elbow that he hurt earlier in the playoffs. I think it could still be a lingering issue. So, all in all, at this stage in the playoffs, I don't think there's anybody 100%, to be honest with you. Only the guys who haven't played very much. So I wonder if that's going to be the case when we see some of those guys. Moses Moody is a name that I've mentioned quite a bit. Juan Toscano Anderson is someone who doesn't play very much. On the other side, you can think about a guy like Green, a young player they have. I think he's going to be important because he's a defensive player. So I think they can stick him on Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole and maybe have some success there. If I didn't mention already, Frank Ntilikina, I think will get some playing time in the series defensively. And, of course, you look even further back there and you see Trey Burke, who's also a dangerous player. So there's some guys that are fresh legs, and I think if these two teams are smart, they will sneak a chance to get some of these guys in there when it's smart to do so. So, yeah, get some fresh legs out there, especially early in the series. I think it makes sense. But, yeah, we will see. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors, once again, are home tonight. Draymond Green is an extremely important player on both sides of the floor. As we know, he's going to be tasked with guarding the best player on the other side, which means Luka Doncic a lot of the time. And he's also going to be tasked with getting everybody the ball and keeping them going and cohesive. So I firmly believe that they should rely upon Jordan Poole a lot more for that. And of course, Steph Curry can make as well. And I think he's kind of gotten away from that over the years. But I remember who he was about 6 years ago. He can light you up from the assist column as well. And if he can get back to his assist ways, you know what I mean? I think that would have helped a lot as well. Draymond doesn't have to be relied upon to be a ball handler in this series. I saw him get a lot of strips in the last series, things like that. It's going to be important for them to utilize him in a way that doesn't allow those stretch forwards, those defensive guys that they got, to strip the ball from him. Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, they're going to be all up under this man and coming from the weak side, making things difficult for him and stuff like that, trying to trap him because he's not that great of a ball handler. So it would be wise for them not to overplay him, obviously, given the fact there's so many shooters down there. But, at the end of the day, we all know how important Dre is on the offensive end. And getting the ball out of his hands and pressuring him is probably something that will be utilized at times. So the task for the Warriors is obviously to try to figure out what works against Luka Doncic. You understand he's going to be shooting a lot of three-point shots. You understand he's going to control the tempo, slow it down, as I've already said. He's going to try that. And you also understand that this is a Dallas Mavericks team that doesn't particularly get out in the fast break at all. So I think it would be very, very wise for the Wiggins, the Kumingas and those guys to get as many fast breaks as possible, because you can take advantage of this Dallas Mavericks team when they turn the ball over, because they're not the type of team that's going to force you into fast break turnovers for themselves for whatever reason. In fact, I would consider them a team that should probably use Green a little more for that. Josh Green, because he's an athletic player that does get out defensively in that situation. So, yeah, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks can win this series if they don't get out in the fast break a little bit and force some turnovers. It's just, they need to get some easy buckets against this Golden State Warriors squad. It's going to be shooting a lot of three-point shots and probably hitting a lot of them too. So, yeah, look out for the perimeter foul. That's what I will say. When you got teams like this, you got to understand that they're going to be looking for you to foul on the perimeter for that 4-point play. Klay Thompson's going to draw some. Steph Curry's going to draw some. Jordan Poole's going to draw some. Luka Doncic's going to draw some. Dinwiddie will probably draw a few. Kleber, Bullock. You get the point. All of these guys are known for getting the shots up from behind the arc at a consistent clip. So that means you're going to have to defend that perimeter. And whatever team doesn't do a good job of defending it will probably see losses come fast. So that's what I got thus far as this particular game is concerned. I guess I'll just go with the home team, given the fact that I have zero information or notion at all, to be honest with you. Just roll with the home team and be smart about it. Luka Doncic could very well come in and have a great game, but I just kind of feel like a lot of people are carrying over what they saw from these previous great games from people like Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic, and they're kind of not looking at the overall totality of some of the performances we've seen. So, for example, people are caught off guard by Jason Tatum's bad third quarter. Well, you wouldn't be if you were paying attention to him and seeing how inconsistent he's been throughout the entire playoffs in that regard. And so to kind of look the same way at some of the players down there, in particular, Luka Doncic, who's coming off a fantastic game. But I haven't forgotten how he looked in Game 4, where he was getting his numbers, but he only had 2 assists, and the team was looking horrible around him. And to me, that's an equivalent for a great player like that, breaking a bunch of shots and turning the ball over a lot. Which brings me to my next point. Luka Doncic turns the ball over entirely too much. It does not get enough attention, but he really does cough the ball up more than basically anybody. So they're going to have to understand that and shore it up if you're the Dallas Mavericks, and most importantly, take advantage of it if you're the Golden State Warriors. Forcing turnovers against that individual is possible. It is possible. And he's going to always have the ball in his hands. He's always going to be making passes that sometimes he should not be trying to make. I know that about Luka Doncic. So his efficiency, shooting the ball and passing the ball, is going to be important. Can't just be one. So, also, everybody's talking about how Luka Doncic is going to be hunting, looking for the mismatch. Understand this. The Golden State Warriors are going to be hunting too for Luka Doncic on the defensive end. So he needs to be prepared to move his feet, because that is a two-way street. And it's going to happen all series long on both sides. He's going to be looking for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who hasn't been able to kind of move like he used to. They're going to be looking for those defensive mismatches on both sides. And foul trouble is a big deal, especially for the Dallas Mavericks. Because if Luka gets in foul trouble, that could be a loss for that game. They don't have the depth like that. I understand that Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie can then slip in and do some great things, but as inconsistent as they've been, I would not want to rely upon that. Luka Doncic needs to stay out of foul trouble, and he definitely needs to stay healthy. So, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. This game, I'm just going to go with the Golden State Warriors off the strength that they are home, that they have had more rest, which I think is important. And if I'm guessing, man, I'd say Jordan Poole. It's time for him to wake up. He's been quiet for almost a whole series now for his standards. The way he can light it up, 34 points, 8 assists, I think it's time for another one of those. I think it's time to remind the people that he is that type of playoff performer. I was listening to people talk about who are the best playoff performers. I was like, Jordan Poole has the ability of putting himself in that position, especially with the presence of the Splash Brothers being there. They're absolute perfect decoy for a player like him to be able to have space to maneuver, as to where other players of his caliber, they don't have those type of decoys around them to keep the defense honest. I think Jordan Poole could go completely off in this particular game, and at home I expect this to be a Jordan Poole game. So that's my guess. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, yeah, that's what I got, man. My name is BDF44. Of course, I have something for you at the end of this one. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.